Hello everyone. In the last session, we are discussed about the basic concepts of magnetic material and simple definitions regarding with magnetism. Now, as we know how the magnetic materials are to be work in attraction type and repulsion type of a force with the magnetic dipoles. Now, the magnetic dipoles are found to exist in magnetic materials analogous to electric dipoles. That is nothing but a magnetic dipole is a small magnet composed of north and south poles instead of positive and negative charges. Now, within a magnetic field, the force of a field exerts a torque that tends to orient the dipoles with the field. Over here, now the torque is nothing but the angular force which are created by magnetic field. Now, the magnetic forces are generated by moving electrically charged particles. These forces are in addition to any electrostatic forces that may already exist. It is convenient to think magnetic forces in terms of distributed field, which is represented by imaginary lines, and these lines also indicate the direction of force. Meanwhile, the magnetic dipoles present in the magnetic materials are same as that of electrical dipoles. The magnetic dipoles is having a small magnet of north and south poles instead of indicating the charges between them. With the magnetic field, the force or field exerts on that material should be tends to orient the dipoles within that field. The magnetic forces which are generated by moving electrically charged particles, these forces are in addition to the electrostatic forces applied to that magnetic material. And when for the study of magnetic forces in terms of distributed field, we can represent the magnetic field with the help of imaginary lines. That lines indicate the direction of force, that is nothing but from north to south or from various magnetic materials. Now, as we know, the magnetic field generated by passing current I through a coil of length L and the number of turns N, then the magnetic field strength H becomes H is equal to N I divided by small l. The magnetic flux density, that is nothing but magnetic induction, is the measure of lines within a medium. It has units as Weber per meter square or Tesla, and it is defined as D is equal to mu into H, where mu is nothing but the permeability. It is a specific property of that medium and has units as Weber per ampere meter or Henry per meter. The relative magnetic permeability is defined as mu r, which is a measure of the degree of material that can be magnetized and we can calculate mu r is equal to mu upon mu 0. So this is the information about the magnetic field. When an magnetization is to be happen, then the amount of magnetization should be indicated by capital M is equal to xm into h. Then the magnetic field intensity, that is B, is equal to mu 0 into h plus mu 0 into m. It becomes B is equal to mu 0 mu r into h, where xm is called as the magnetic susceptibility, and it's given as xm is equal to mu r minus 1. Now from that magnetic field we can find out the magnetization, the amount of magnetization, as well as the magnetic susceptibility by which the magnetic material should be depends upon the magnetic dipoles. Now over here, the types of magnetism. A material is magnetically characterized based on the way it can be magnetized. This depends on the material's magnetic susceptibility, its which is nothing but its magnitude and its sign. According to its magnitude and its sign, there are three basic magnetisms which are generally used for the classification. The first one is called as diamagnetism. Second one is called as paramagnetism. Third classification is known as ferromagnetism, within which two subclasses are to be there. First one, that is antiferromagnetism and ferrimagnetism. These are considered as the subclasses of ferromagnetism. So generally the magnetic fields or magnetism, they are classified according to these five types of magnetic materials which are generally used for industrial and domestic purposes. The magnetic materials having a linear relationship between the M, that is nothing but the magnetization, amount of magnetization, and H, called as susceptibility, which are divided into the various classes of the susceptibility, that is X into M of the materials, and according to that these various magnetism classifications are to be introduced. Okay, we can start with the first one, that is nothing but the diamagnetism. Now the slide shows the concept of diamagnetism in the terms of magnetic flux lines. When the diamagnetic specimen of material, it should be placed between the magnetic materials, then it should be creates an magnetic flux lines which are flowing from N north pole to the south pole, from assigning with the diamagnetic specimen of the material. Now the diamagnetic materials are the magnetic materials which have the negative value of susceptibility in the range of 10 raised to minus 4 to 10 raised to minus 6. Now according to the presence or the absence of permanent magnetic dipoles, the diamagnetic materials is the material in which the permanent magnetic dipoles are totally absent, and henceforth it should be called as the diamagnetic materials. So we can discuss regarding with diamagnetic materials. These materials are very weak and it exists only in presence of an external field which should be a non-permanent. By applied external field, it acts on atoms of a material, slightly unbalancing their orbiting electrons and creates small magnetic dipoles within atoms which oppose the electrical field. This action produces a negative magnetic effect known as a diamagnetism. The induced magnetic moment is small and the magnetization, that is nothing but capital M, magnetization direction is opposite to the direction of applied field, that is nothing but H. Thus the relative permeability is less than unity. That means the magnetic susceptibility is negative and is in the order of 10 raised to minus 5. The materials such as copper, silicon, alumina are the diamagnetic at the room temperature. Now, as per the discussion, we can define as these materials are very weak and exist only in the presence of external field which are the non-permanent of magnetic dipoles. These materials acts on the atoms of a material which are slightly unbalancing their orbiting electrons and creates small magnetic dipoles within the atoms which oppose the applied field. This action produces a negative magnetic effect which are generally known as the diamagnetism. As the induced magnetic moment is small, hence the magnetization direction is opposite to the direction of applied field H. Means the direction of M is totally opposite to the direction of applied field H. Thus, the relative permeability of such type of material is less than unity, and henceforth the magnetic susceptibility is negative and it is in the order of 10 raised to minus 5. For the materials of diamagnetic property, it should be having negligible distortion of the field. Means when diamagnetic materials are placed in a magnetic field, there is negligible distortion of the field. Second property is that the force exerted by the magnetic field on these materials is very weak. The diamagnetism can be detected if the properties related to positive magnetisms are absent. Next part or next classification is nothing but the paramagnetism. Now, how the paramagnetism it should be works with the field with the effect of magnetic field, that is nothing but H. Now, in this diagram, you can see in the left hand side, in the absence of a magnetic field, the magnetic flux lines or the magnetic dipoles are dispersed with each other. It is having the disperse, means it should be a randomly oriented dipole moments. The dipole moments present present in the magnetic material having the dispersed in their nature, whereas as the magnetic field it should be introduced to that paramagnetic materials, then the magnetic dipoles are present in such a directions, either it should be in upward directions or in downward directions, and henceforth when the magnetic field it is introduced for the paramagnetic material, then the direction of all the magnetic dipoles remains same or it becomes same. Okay, the magnetic flux lines structure of paramagnetic material, it should be indicated in the third diagram, where the magnetic flux lines are slightly curved between the materials, and it shows that if the dipole moments are randomly oriented, and if it is the interacted with the magnetic field, then the permanent magnetic dipole moments becomes zero or negligible, and the material should be called as the paramagnetic material. Now, these are some properties of paramagnetic material, which are: it is slightly stronger, means when an external field is applied to the dipoles, it should be lines up with the field, resulting in a positive magnetization. However, the dipoles do not interact with each other. The materials which exhibit a small positive magnetic susceptibility in the presence of a magnetic field are called as paramagnetic material, and the effect is termed as paramagnetism. In the absence of an external field, the orientations of atomic magnetic moments are random, leading to no net magnetization. When an external field is applied, dipoles lines up with the field, resulting in the positive magnetization. However, because the dipoles do not interact, extremely large magnetic fields are required to align all the dipoles. In addition, the effect lost as soon as the magnetic field is removed. Since thermal agitation randomizes the directions of the magnetic dipoles, an increase in a temperature decreases the paramagnetic effect. Paramagnetism is produced in many materials like aluminum, calcium, titanium, alloys of copper. Okay, so according to the magnetic dipoles and the strength it is to be considered, the paramagnetic materials are slightly stronger than diamagnetic materials. When an external field is applied to the dipoles, it should be lines up as indicated in the figure, resulting in the positive magnetizations, because all the magnetic flux lines are having in one direction, that is nothing but the lines up, and henceforth the dipoles do not interact with each other. The materials which exhibit a small positive magnetic susceptibility in the presence of magnetic field are called as paramagnetic concept. those materials which exhibit a small positive magnetic susceptibility in the presence of magnetic field are called as paramagnetic materials, and the same effect is termed as paramagnetism. Now, in this type of material, in the absence of external field, the orientations of atomic magnetic moments are random, leading to no net magnetization. In the absence of any external field, that is magnetic field, the magnetic dipoles are dispersed or in random directions, leading to no net magnetization. But when an external field is applied, the dipoles are lines up with the field and resulting in the positive magnetization, which is called as the paramagnetism concept. However, because the dipoles do not interact, extremely large magnetic fields are required to align all the dipoles. In addition, the effect is lost as soon as the magnetic field is removed. When we can remove that magnetic field, again the lines of magnetic dipoles are dispersed. They becomes in random directions now. Since the thermal agitation randomizes the directions of the magnetic dipoles, it is increases in the temperature with decreasing the paramagnetic effect. If we can increase the temperature, the paramagnetic material decreases its paramagnetism characteristics. The paramagnetism is produced in many materials like aluminum, calcium, titanium, and alloys of copper. Because of that, these are having the properties of paramagnetism. When the paramagnetic materials are placed in a magnetic field, there is the negligible distortions of field. No or a very small amount of distortions is to be created with paramagnetic materials. When force is exerted by the magnetic field on these materials, it is very weak. The phenomenon of paramagnetism is analogous to the polarization process in the dielectric materials. As we know, the polarization process of a dielectric material, the, the same concept usually happens with the paramagnetic materials, and henceforth it is analogous to the polarization process in the dielectric materials. The third one should be called as ferromagnetism. Now in this diagram, you can see the material you should be having the different types of magnetic dipole directions as a part, where in the first part the magnetic dipoles having the directions of downward directions, whereas the second part it should be inclined. In the third part it should be horizontal, whereas in the fourth part it should be again the inclined but in upward direction. Okay, now the ferromagnetic material when comes in contact with the external magnetic field, then the ferromagnetism it should be creates the magnetic dipole moment directions in lines up, and that's in the upward direction. Okay, as shown in this figure, the ferromagnetic concept of ferromagnetic material, it should be creates all the magnetic dipoles in the same direction, in one direction only. That should be nothing but the part first which are generally in a downward directions, they are converted into the lines up. Those which are inclined with each other, they also the lines up with their nature, and those magnetic dipoles aligns in horizontal directions, they also having the lines up with upward directions. Okay, so this is the property of ferromagnetic material which are shows its property in means of a dipole moment direction. Okay, now over here the magnetic flux lines which are generally carried out from N to S, these are in the form of magnetic flux lines into the ferromagnetism concept or magnetic materials, and it should be creates the structure of that ferromagnetism with the help of magnetic flux lines. Okay, we can discuss with this uh, ferromagnetism with some properties. Now, both diamagnetic and paramagnetic materials are considered as non-magnetic because they exhibit magnetizations only in the presence of external field. The certain materials possesses permanent magnetic moments even in the absence of external field. This is the result of permanent unpaired dipoles formed from unfilled energy levels. These dipoles can easily lines up with imposed magnetic field due to the exchange interactions or mutual reinforcement of the dipoles. These are schematics of ferromagnetism. Materials with ferromagnetism, for example, ferrous, copper, neon, cadmium, possess magnetic susceptibilities approaching 10 raised to minus 6. Above the Curie temperature, the ferromagnetic materials behaves as a paramagnetic materials, and their susceptibility is given by the Curie-Weiss law, defined as Xm is equal to C divided by T minus Tc, where C is a material constant, T is nothing but temperature, and Tc is nothing but the Curie temperature. Now, as far as the ferromagnetism concept or ferromagnetism material is to be considered, then this is the first material in which the permanent magnetic field is to be generated. Why? Because the diamagnetic and paramagnetic materials are behaves as a magnetic material only if they are in the presence of external field. Now, this parameter makes impact more powerful for the ferromagnetic materials. Now, in this type of ferromagnetism materials, the dipoles which are easily lines up with the imposed magnetic field due to the exchange interactions or mutual reinforcement of the dipoles. These are characteristics of ferromagnetism. The materials with ferromagnetisms are introduced as ferrous, copper, neon, cadmium possesses the magnetic susceptibilities approaching to 10 raised to minus 6. Now, above the Curie temperature, the ferromagnetic materials behaves as paramagnetic materials and used for various applications with susceptibility with the given Curie-Weiss law. Now this law should indicate Curie-Weiss law, that is nothing but Xm is equal to C divided by T capital T minus Tc, where C is nothing but the material constant, T is nothing but the temperature at initial condition, and Tc is nothing but the Curie temperature by applying effect. Okay, so this is all about the ferromagnetism concept. The ferromagnets are very strong in their nature. The dipoles are lines up permanently upon which the applications of external field should be depends. Againly, the ferromagnetic materials or ferromagnetism is also depends upon the two subclasses. The first one it should be nothing but antiferromagnetism, and next one that is ferromagnetism. So the ferromagnetic materials, which are the first permanent magnetic materials in the absence or presence of external field, then the ferromagnetics are very strong in their nature. Because of that, the dipoles are lines up permanently upon which the applications are to be depends. It has the two subclasses generally known as the antiferromagnetism and ferromagnetism. This part we can discuss in next session. Okay, so if you have any query regarding with these magnetic materials, just you can give me the feedback regarding with this session. Thank you very much.